The various Fallout games are supposed to be about building a strong character who must overcome various odds as they claw back at the dangerous world around them. Whether you're playing the original Fallout, Fallout New Vegas, or even Fallout 4, your main goal is to explore the world around you and become a certified god in the meantime. This can be mainly done through killing the creatures of the wasteland and leveling up, which in turn offers you a perk point towards selecting a perk of your choice. The amount of perks you receive per level changes across the franchise, but the importance of them stays the same. Perks are a vital resource and are pivotal towards almost any build you can think of. But not every perk is built the same, and not every perk has as much of an impact on your gameplay experience. Today, we're going to observe the entire Fallout franchise and pick out the absolutely dumb and ridiculous perks across the games. Today, we're covering the worst perks in the Fallout series. The Fallout games are filled with different types of leveling mechanics, whether it's the previously mentioned perks, the small selection of traits you can receive at the start of a game, or even the various skills. Skills? Oh god. Skillshare is a huge online learning community with over tens of thousands of online classes that you can start participating in today. The site covers a wide variety of topics from video editing and social media management to even photography and business. Personally, I find that there is enjoyment in perfecting 1 to 2 niche skills in life, and one of the skills that I try to pride myself on is that of editing. I've been working on advancing my transition skills in Premiere Pro by following a bunch of simple but effective tutorials on Skillshare. One of my favorite tutorials that I found on Skillshare was this 7-part video series by Bart Ream. He covers 5 key transition types that are super simple to implement into your videos, but help add that final that makes any video just feel so much smoother. There are a lot of talented people on Skillshare that can help you kickstart your creative side, so feel free to click the first link in the description, which allows the first 1,000 people to join Skillshare for a free month. Once again, thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, when it comes to the structure of this video, I'll be listing off the perks in any given random order. I'll be covering basically all of the Fallout games, so look out for your favorite ones throughout the video. Also, feel free to disagree with me on almost any of these topics. This video is entirely subjective, just know that you are wrong and I'm right, so let's move on. Let's start off with something very basic. Night Vision is a perk in Fallout 1 and 2 that increases the brightness of the game by either 10 or 20% respectively. As you can see, this is basically redundant, as you could just, turn up the brightness of your monitor. Now, before you tell me that it affects the calculations for hitting an enemy in the dark, yes, you are correct, it does, by the smallest of margins. Because when it comes to hit chance in the isometric games, they are mostly affected by the weapon skill, with darkness having somewhat of a significant change to said hit chance, but increasing it by 10 or 20% is almost meaningless. So yes, night vision isn't just purely cosmetic, but once you have a weapon skill beyond 100, you've basically mitigated that deficit from being in the dark, rendering the night vision perk absolutely useless. This is made worse by the fact that in Fallout 1 and 2, you only get a perk every 3 levels. So when you really make a bad choice like this, it kind of sticks with you for the rest of the playthrough.
Swatter, swatter, who needs a swatter?
Now, Basher is a good perk on paper. Well, actually, not really. But I could see why some people would disagree with me on this one. Basher basically increases the damage you do with your weapon's bash mechanic in Fallout 4, adding new attributes as you level it up, like crippling your opponent. However, bashing in Fallout 4 is not useful or viable as a means to deal damage. Sure, you could commit yourself to a challenge run with only bashing, but as a casual playthrough, it's not that useful. I mean, yes, you can occasionally bash an enemy as they teeter on the edge of life and death to finish them off, or to cancel one of their attacking animations, but increasing this damage is like having an entire perk tree committed to the unarmed attacks mechanic. Oh. Let's move on over to Fallout 3. With Broken Steel installed at level 26 with 7 endurance, you could obtain the most broken perk in the game that makes any type of radiation damage basically cease to exist. No, I'm just kidding. Rad Tolerance is a perk that basically removes the effect of minor radiation poisoning. You know, that -1 endurance you suffer at 200 radiation damage? You probably think I read the wiki wrong, or that Rad Tolerance affects all levels of radiation poisoning. No, just the minor effect of -1 endurance, which is basically like adding +1 endurance every time you get irradiated. You know, you could have just used the intense training perk to permanently increase your endurance by 1 and not just compensate for the slight radiation effect you might obtain. Like, yes, this only removes the radiation poisoning effect from one of the tiers of radiation poisoning. It is such a waste of a perk point. Not only will you not usually find yourself slightly irradiated, but if you are, there's a good chance you're going to move up to the next tier anyways, so why is there a perk at level 26 that is only dedicated for one tier of radiation poisoning? I honestly don't understand why this is in the game. Let's move straight on to another Broken Steel DLC perk, that being the perk that pretty much no one asked for. Quantum Chemist instantly converts 10 Nuka-Colas in your inventory into a Nuka-Cola Quantum, which in itself isn't a very useful item, with its only main use being that of regenerating AP passively for the player. If you're doing a very heavy VATS playthrough that relies on the VATS system quite a lot, this could be a very useful perk, but why not just get Grim Reaper's Sprint at this point, which instantly regenerates all AP on a kill in VATS, meaning that with Grim Reaper's Sprint, you essentially have infinite AP as long as you keep killing enemies. The main use of the Quantum Chemist perk that I could think of is probably for the quest The Nuka-Cola Challenge, which asks you to collect a total of 30 Quantums for Sierra Petrova. However, I don't see this as being that outlandish, as the game does a pretty good job of offering a large pool of Quantum spawns, plus the occasional randomized spawn inside of a cola machine. Outside of this, I don't think this perk is useful at all. It's kind of annoying how Broken Steel has some of the best and worst perks in all of Fallout 3. The base game perks of Fallout 3 are actually really well balanced, and the only perks featured on this list from Fallout 3 have all come from Broken Steel, and the last one from Fallout 3 is also going to be from Broken Steel. But before we get onto that, let's move on to something else. We recently covered Grim Reaper's Sprint when we were mentioning Quantum Chemist, so let's cover it again in Fallout New Vegas. Now sure, fully regenerating an entire AP bar on a single VATS kill is a little bit broken, yes. But in New Vegas they compensated for this by absolutely ruining the perk altogether. Now, in New Vegas, Grim Reaper's Sprint will only regenerate 20 action points per kill, which is barely enough to cover the cost of a basic attack as it is. This is a level 20 perk that, dare I say, is just useless to obtain. There are a lot of ways to increase your AP in Fallout New Vegas, but getting the Grim Reaper Sprint kind of seems like a waste, especially when you only get a perk point every 2 levels. I know that the perk was utterly broken in Fallout 3 and is probably one of the most least balanced perks that Fallout 3 ever has, but this ain't right. Oh boy, let's talk about the big boy in the room. You knew he was coming up in this video. With the Dead Money DLC installed, you can obtain the In Shining Armor perk at level 2. This perk boasts an impressive extra 5 damage threshold in metal armor against laser weapons, with an additional 2 damage threshold with reflective eyewear or helmets. I mean, if this perk actually worked, it would still be trash, but let's continue. This perk doesn't work at all. It's kind of a meme in the New Vegas community at this point, but In Shining Armor has absolutely zero effect on your overall damage threshold. The perk also claims to reflect incoming laser attacks, but that doesn't happen either. Yeah, this perk is just a big waste, and I still can't believe it's not fixed, although I don't think it's gonna get fixed anytime soon. Vans. Oh boy. This perk is just, We have all heard the numerous jokes, like with In Shining Armor, about how we should pick this perk at the start of a playthrough oh, pick Vans, and how useless it is as a perk. For context, Vans is a perk that will highlight the path to the closest quest target when you use VATS. Not only is this made redundant by the fact that you literally are provided a quest marker for almost every quest, but it's also made worse by the fact that you can only use this perk passively in the VATS system. Ew. Now, Bethesda did try to fix it with the addition of Nuka World by giving the player +2 perception at the second tier of Vans, which does somewhat refund the perk points into special points for perception, but you'd be better off just not taking this perk, like, ever. Now, let's cover the last Fallout 3 perk, and yes, it's from Broken Steel again. This perk is very simple, prevents any addiction to alcohol. Now, I don't know about you, but in Fallout 3, I don't usually catch myself drinking alcohol a whole bunch. And if you do get addicted in the odd chance, you can simply visit a doctor in any town and have it fixed. Funnily enough, this perk does come back in Fallout 4 and was made much better, having 3 different tiers that really separate it out. For example, the effects of alcohol are doubled at tier 2, and your luck is increased by 3 at tier 3, which is a lot more than what the basic anti-addiction perk does in Fallout 3. Now, I could be wrong on this one, but I don't catch myself drinking alcohol, like I said, in Fallout 3 at all, so being immune to addictions with alcohol just feels very meaningless. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a better perk you could pick here. Moving on. Do you have 0 social skills? Do you often find yourself becoming best friends with a literal rock? Then you should pick the empathy perk. This useless piece of trash for a perk will let you know what people think of you, so you don't have to actually remember your course of actions and understand the tone that they give off with their speech. Not only is this perk an insult to the perk system overall, but it's an insult to the player's memory as well, as it assumes that you can't remember what exactly you've done in your playthrough. Why do you need this perk to tell you that? It's worthless. Moving on to the last of the isometric Fallout perks, we have Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a perk that decreases the amount of time that passes when maneuvering through the world map. Travel time has no impact on the game whatsoever. The time limit you receive in Fallout 1 is generous and it doesn't really reduce encounters or anything. The only time I can see this perk being useful is in Fallout 2, for when you're doing the Something Strange Happening Modok quest, when both Modok and the Slags are on the brink of war and you have 30 days to track down Carl. It's here that you'll find this 30-day trek from Modok to the den back to Modok again to be quite a close one. The game barely gives you 30 days worth of travel time before the time will run out. You will usually find that this is a very close call. However, with the Pathfinder perk, you will be able to complete this quest without any issue whatsoever. But that's it. That's all I can think of, Pathfinder being a useful perk for this one quest. Really, outside of that, it doesn't really do anything. Like I said, travel time doesn't really have an effect on the game, it doesn't lower encounters or anything like that, it just reduces your travel time, which does nothing. Oh, I can tell that people are going to disagree with me on this one. Here and Now basically pushes you into the next level, instantly leveling you up once you receive the perk. It is, in my opinion, a complete waste. The various Fallout games offer more than enough ways to level up and gain XP, and using a perk point that you only get a limited supply of for this reason is just absurd. It's a mistake a lot of us have made, and some may not see it as a bad perk at all, but I'm adding it to the list because there is most likely always a better perk that you can pick. Now, with that being said, I can understand why the final couple of perks could be defended. However, perk points, like I've pointed out multiple times in this video, are incredibly useful and limited, except for Fallout 4. So if you catch yourself playing New Vegas running away from Private Kowalski, then you better make sure you invest these points wisely. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, more content to come. If you like the idea of challenge runs with a variety of flair, like playing Fallout 4 with every spawn being a legendary, then head on over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Itsjabo, for some good old content. Until next time, I'll see you guys then, and goodbye.